You know that little checkbox at the bottom of a form? For years, that was pretty much the entire strategy for getting customer consent. But the game has completely changed. That old playbook isn't just outdated anymore. It's a serious business risk. So let's dig into what's different and what it actually means for you. The big question for any organization collecting user data today is simple. Are you ready for this new reality? Because what we're talking about here aren't small adjustments. These are fundamental shifts in how businesses need to operate. The old set it and forget it approach is officially over. With new regulations like the Digital Personal Data Protection Act, or DPDPA, consent is no longer a one-time event. Think of it more like a living life cycle. It's a continuous dialogue with your users, not just a single checkbox they clicked once years ago and completely forgot about. You'll hear this term a lot going forward: data fiduciary. It might sound complicated, but the meaning is simple. If your organization collects and processes a user's personal data, then you are the data fiduciary. That means you are legally responsible for protecting that data and respecting your users' rights. So what does this new environment actually require from you? Let's break down the key obligations every data fiduciary now faces. First, you can only use personal data for specific and lawful purposes that you clearly explain to the user. You must provide a clear notice before asking for consent. And the consent itself must be explicit and unambiguous. But the real game changers are these. Users can withdraw their consent at any time, just as easily as they gave it. You must be able to prove that consent was obtained in the first place. And if a user asks you to erase their data, you must comply. This is a completely new level of accountability. That small, innocent-looking checkbox now carries serious legal weight. It's effectively a binding agreement with your users. And the burden of proof now sits entirely with the business. Now, at this point, you might be thinking this sounds overwhelming. It can feel like a mountain of legal requirements and operational complexity. But there is a modern way to solve this problem. The key is transforming legal obligations into automated, enforceable technology. And this is where a modern customer identity and access management platform, or CIAM, comes in. A CIAM platform does much more than simply record consent in a database. It operationalizes consent. It translates legal requirements into automated workflows that enforce those rules across your systems. So, how does that actually work in practice? Let's walk through a few real examples. First, let's talk about proof. If regulators ever investigate your organization, you can't simply say you believe the user clicked a checkbox. You need verifiable evidence. The solution is an immutable audit trail. Immutable simply means permanent and tamper-proof. The platform creates an uneditable digital record for every user interaction. It captures who consented, what they consented to, the exact time it happened, and even which version of the privacy notice they saw. This creates a complete and defensible record for audits or regulatory reviews. Next comes the right to withdraw consent. The law is very clear. Withdrawing consent must be just as easy as giving it. For users, that's simple. But for businesses, enforcing that decision across multiple systems instantly can be extremely difficult. This is where automation becomes essential. When a user clicks Withdraw Consent in their portal, the CIAM platform doesn't simply record the action. It immediately enforces it. Access can be restricted automatically, and signals are sent across connected applications instructing them to stop processing that user's data. And finally, this all connects to the broader issue of trust. Today's users are far more aware of their digital rights. They want transparency. They want to know what data you collect, why you collect it, and they want control over it. This is enabled through a transparency portal, a secure place where users can log in and view their consent history. They can update their preferences, correct their data, or request its deletion. Every one of these actions is recorded and tracked. This isn't just about compliance, it's about building real customer trust. Now, it's important to understand one thing clearly. This is a partnership between technology and the business. Think of it as a clear boundary of responsibilities. On one side, the platform automates the technical enforcement, identity verification, consent lifecycle management, access enforcement, and audit logging. But the business still owns the strategic responsibilities. You define the lawful purpose for collecting data. You ensure data is actually deleted from your systems when required. And you maintain the broader governance and compliance strategy. So the key takeaway is simple. The platform provides the tools to automate and enforce consent. But your organization still defines the rules. And this leads to the most important insight of all. Consent should no longer be treated as a legal checkbox or a compliance burden. When managed properly, consent becomes a powerful operational control. It prevents unauthorized data usage. It provides clear audit evidence. It becomes an enforceable part of a user's digital identity. And most importantly, it becomes the foundation of customer trust. Consent is more than compliance. It is a core operational control. That means it cannot be treated as a once-a-year legal task. It must be embedded into how your organization operates every single day. So here's the final question to consider. Is your current approach to consent creating risk and friction, or is it actively strengthening trust with your customers? Because the answer to that question may define your organization's future.